Welcome to Section A, the Pre-Drive module. All applicants completing HPCBA are required to demonstrate competency in completing the required checks and procedures when preparing to operate a heavy vehicle. These checks are critical to ensure the vehicle being operated is safe and in a roadworthy condition. The driver of any vehicle on the road network is responsible for the condition of the vehicle. The short video for this module will begin automatically. Criteria 1. Pre-operational check. Assessment of this criteria must be conducted in a non-traffic area with safe pedestrian access to all sides of the vehicle. It is recommended that for consistency of practice, the assessment of Criteria 1 start at a position which will require the applicant to move around the vehicle once only. In this video, the applicant and the assessor have started at the front left. Applicants are permitted to use as a reference the Guide to Heavy Vehicle Competency-Based Assessment to assist when completing Criteria 1. As the applicant moves around the vehicle, they are required to locate, inspect, and/or describe the reasons for inspection. In this example, we have started by checking the tyres. The tyres must be checked for all possible defects, including any cuts or damage, inflation levels, and importantly, the applicant must describe the minimum required tread depth, which is 1.5 millimeters.
Wheels and tyres, I need to check that the tyres have minimum tread depth of 1.5 mil. There's no obvious damage to the outside of the tyre, no chunks or major cuts.
Whilst checking the tyres, applicants must also check the rims for any dents, damage, cracks, and loose or missing wheel nuts.
The wheel rim needs to be undamaged, so no cracks, no dents, and no major damage there. And the wheel nuts, we need to make sure that they're all intact and that they're all tight.
Whilst moving around the vehicle, the applicant must also check all other wheels and tyres, including any spare tyre if it is fitted. The applicant is also required to state the vehicle's measurements, the vehicle's height, including any load.
This vehicle is 4 metres in height. Yep.
The applicant must also state the vehicle's length and weight. This is important, particularly in high-risk areas, where restrictions on the vehicle weight, height, or width may be located on roads, tunnels, bridges, or railway crossings.
This vehicle's 8.2 metres in length. This vehicle weighs 17.5 tonne.
Applicants must check fluid levels, including fuel, oil, coolant, and also components such as drive belts and pulleys. If an item is not accessible or presents a work health and safety issue, for example tilting the cab of a vehicle or hot pressurized fluids, the applicant is to give a commentary describing and explaining the items that are required to be checked. The assessor may prompt the applicant for more information if required. Generally, bonneted vehicles that provide easy access to components should be tilted to enable the applicant to access all items. The applicant must check the vehicle's posture and positioning of load to ensure that it is not leaning to one side and it is sitting level front to back. Applicants must also check the serviceability of any compartments and hatches. At all times during a pre-operational check, the applicant must check for any safety hazards, sharp edges, or any loose item that may fall from the vehicle. Applicants must complete a check of all vehicle lights and indicators. These checks may be completed with the assessor in the cab operating the lights as required.
Right hand indicator, left hand.
The registration status of the vehicle is required to be checked. With regulatory authorities moving away from registration labels, online applications are available to check the registration status of all vehicles, including those registered interstate. If the license class being assessed is a heavy combination or a multi-combination, all couplings, including airlines and power cables, must be checked to ensure that they are undamaged, connected properly, or stowed away securely. Criteria 2. Cabin drill. Assessment of Criteria 2 must be conducted with the vehicle parked and secure with the engine not running. The driver must enter and leave the cabin at all times, meeting work health and safety requirements. Approaching from the front of the vehicle on the driver's side, the driver must be aware of all oncoming and approaching traffic. Utilizing the step foothold and grab handle if fitted, the driver must maintain 3 points of contact at all times when entering and leaving the vehicle, using the handrail for leverage. Using the steering wheel is not acceptable. Once in the driver's seat, the applicant is to fasten and adjust the seatbelt as required. The applicant is to adjust the seat to obtain good posture, comfort, and to enable easy operation of all controls.
First thing I do is just make sure that my seating position is correct, so I can adjust that by just pulling the handle up, sliding the seat back and forward.
The applicant must check all mirrors for any cracks or damage and adjust for effective vision. If the vehicle is a bus, applicants must also check that all internal passenger mirrors are set correctly. The applicant must check the cabin for loose items and take the appropriate action to secure them.
We want to make sure that the vehicle is generally clean and there's no loose items such as this water bottle on the floor, so we put that away securely.
The applicant is required to check that the windows and windscreen are not cracked, are clean, and there is nothing in the way which could obscure the driver's vision. The applicant should then be asked to locate, identify, and where appropriate, describe the function of controls, gauges, and warning lights. A full list of items is included in the Guide to HVCBA, but where fitted may include seat adjustments, indicators, hazard lights, wipers and washers, lighting controls, service brake control, park brake controls, gear changing mechanisms, clutch, brake and accelerator, steering wheel, horn and auxiliary equipment such as air conditioner controls, auxiliary brakes, and all lighting controls within the cabin.
If you could locate, identify and where appropriate, describe the functions of the gauges and the switches for me in this cabin.
So up here we've got our air pressure gauges which measure air pressure to the vehicle, axle temperature, fuel gauge, transmission temperature gauge, exhaust temperature gauge. This cluster here, we've got our engine brake buttons, cruise control, that's just the trailer handpiece. Down around my feet I've got my accelerator pedal, brake pedal and clutch.